look, if you're going to get an inheritance and just divorce your spouse, maybe you shouldn't be married in the first place. All right. I am in a similar spot financially. You can't touch his inheritance, but you are due any alimony or on money made off that income, interest, and investments, etc. You are due alimony on money made off that income. No, no, you're not. The best thing to do is to suck it up and be cordial and let him feel guilt about how he would leave you financially. Tell him to keep the inheritance, that you won't come after it and you want to be friends and have an amicable divorce. Get him to sign out of guilt all that you can. Then when he does, you treat him like the POS that he is. Okay, so so that person is advising be just as sneaky and dirty and underhanded as the spouse. Don't know if that's healthy or not. Talk with your lawyer about what makes sense. And the original poster, exactly. I've had to inform some of our business associates, real estate agents, insurance people, etc., and I simply tell them the truth. He got a large inheritance and a girlfriend and now wants a divorce. The outpouring of support I've received has been amazing because, let's face it, what he is doing is a total cliche. Guy gets a big pile of non-community property money, gets a girlfriend, and dumps loyal wife of 30 years. It is a good thing he is moving quite far away, about a 3-hour drive, because he is going to be a laughing stock here. Okay, consequences. Another comment. Marriages fall apart stressed by finances. Marriages also limp along for years when someone needs financial stability. The issue is as simple as that. He needed your income to live, and once he no longer needed your income, he filed for divorce. He might not have planned it this way, but once he had the inheritance, the realization hit him. He will continue to look at your money as community property because it is community property. Well, true. Another comment. I wouldn't say my ex left because of the inheritance, but I'm sure it helped provide that extra safety net to ensure she would be good without my income to support her. Just an extra enabling feature in her pro-con list. As in your relationship, money was always a difficult topic. So, yeah, that money ends up being one of the major reasons for a divorce. And I guess in this case, an inheritance and getting money as opposed to a lack of money could also end up being a part for the divorce. If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel. Reading all the comments and your responses, I feel like I'm married to your husband. Different circumstances and scenarios, but same personalities. Everyone told me from the start we had different ambitions in life, or rather he had none, and was in it for the ride. But would I listen? No. Okay. I finally reached a decent point in my career and our finances after 10 plus years of schooling and supporting us and his family, and he showed his true colors. So I finally mustered up the courage, and he's on a plane tonight to go back to where he came from, our home country. And I'm sitting here alone tonight wondering if I'm that much of a perfectionist or a Miranda from The Devil Wears Prada, that I can't handle a good man with a good soul when I got one, despite his flaws and occasional white lies. Okay. From the original poster, no, you are not too much of a perfectionist. That would be complaining that the color of his tie was not quite right, or there was a crucial hair out of place on his head when you went out. You are experiencing a fundamental difference in values. Some people have hustle. They take what jobs they can get. They go to school or back to school, as I did. They take an additional side job delivering papers when their husband gets laid off to keep the family afloat. Yours truly, while in school and teaching exercise classes and with 3 kids, one of whom was under a year old. IOW, we did what we had to be done to get ahead. Other people just look at the world and say how unfair it is. The reason things, quote, went wrong was never their fault. It was some big bad other. Another person, a company, a president. So all they will work for is to grab their little piece and F everyone else. I want mine. To those people, every setback they have is someone else's fault. To people like us, it is all the more reason to work harder. You keep working hard, sister, and never apologize for your success or the right to your own life. All right, that's another point. When trying to figure out inheritances for kids, you might want to take a look at what is their ambition. If they don't have a lot of ambition, if they're not working hard to make money themselves, if all they're doing is relying on you, you may end up wanting to figure out the way to do the inheritance in a way that doesn't give them everything all at once. You know, if there's a crime TV show, I'm not going to mention the name, but one of the main characters and the daughter inherited a whole bunch of money. It's, well, how much actually did you get? And she gave a very good answer. Enough money that we can do anything we want, but not enough money that we can do nothing. So, yeah, it was a good amount of money to give them options, but enough that they had to keep working. You can structure inheritances that way. So let's keep going. Comment, thank you. I needed to hear this today. God bless you. If you are in an at-fault state, technically he is cheating. All right, but what exactly does that mean? That means if you're in an at-fault state, typically it means you don't get alimony. Well, she was making more money than him. He's retired. He's just got his pension. So unless his pension is exceeding what she's getting, the idea that somehow or another she's going to get alimony or that she would have to pay him alimony, you know, it just doesn't make sense. He's not in need because he's got all that money. All right, let's keep going. Seems kind of weird how you framed everything after you started making more than him as your money. It belonged to both of you. I made a lot more than my ex-wife, but all the rental properties we bought were ours, and she got half in our split. Luckily, I never received any inheritance during our marriage. Okay. All right, so from the original poster, does that seem weird? Maybe it was because I heard just one too many times early in our marriage, I pay bill X, so this is how it is going to be. Maybe it is a petty thing, but he used to keep the house really cold in the winter. I was almost always uncomfortable, but he would always say, I pay the heat bill, so here is what we are going to do. I remember when I started earning good money, taking over the heating bill, and my overriding thought was, finally, I can be comfortable in my own house because now I pay this bill so I can have the temperature the way I want it. My impression, granted it might have been one-sided, was that he, and his whole family for that matter, set the rules. The person who makes the most money gets to make the rules. He just never expected me to win that game in such a big way. Okay. And for what it's worth, he is trying to gain sympathy from our kids by telling them how he is so poor and makes $40,000 a year because that is his retirement pension. So I finally got disgusted and simply took copies of his latest bank statement and investment account statement to our kids' houses and showed them. He literally has $250,000 in a savings account, like totally liquid. The rest is in CDs and investments. Yeah, he is so poor. My feeling is that mostly he is just selfish. But as I said in my original post, I am just trying to understand because I would never in a million years have done what he did. And I think that's it. That says it all. It kind of comes down to value. Look, if you're going to get an inheritance and just divorce your spouse, maybe you shouldn't be married in the first place. So that was just an interesting take on how an inheritance, I don't want to say it blew up the marriage, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I hope you found that information useful. As I mentioned, we've got some webinars on how you can plan your estate so that maybe your kids aren't going to go through this type of hassle, or at least lose what you're leaving them in some kind of divorce. So as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.